Okay, so the new DCU slate just got announced. I've already watched it, so this is not going to be a reaction, but this is just going to be me sharing my thoughts on the new DCU slate since Snyderverse and all that other previous regimes getting wiped off. Apparently, James Gunn, Peter Safran, they're taking over for the new DC slate going forward, and let's just I'll just share my thoughts on each project. My speculation on the Gods and Monsters title is that I think due to what he's announced, is going to be the monsters, like the outcast superheroes. But then there's the gods, like probably Dark New Gods, maybe. And then there's the gods, which are like the superheroes, like Superman, Wonder Woman, all that, where they're like a pantheon. So that's my guess on the title. Yeah, like with this one, they're the monsters. And then there's also the gods, but that god part hasn't been coming. I think Creature Commandos looks like it's going to be very fun since it does have the old school, was it Universal monsters? I mean, you got a Frankenstein there, you got Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, you got, I forget his name, Weasel from Suicide Squad. And then apparently this is Rick Flag Sr. or grandfather of Rick Flag from Suicide Squad. So this is going to be interesting because it gives me that Hellboy vibe where Hellboy has his whole roster, Abe Sapien, Hellboy, Liz, and then you got the that gas robot voiced by Seth MacFarlane. This has me excited but also kind of worried because it does seem that the continuity from the Suicide Squad that James Gunn directed will be carrying over. But then again, there was Waller's character did have like some have a part in the Snyderverse when it was Suicide Squad, the one with Jared Leto Joker. So it might be doing some little crossover where they'll be keeping the cast of the Suicide Squad, but then kind of throwing out the rest. So has me a bit worried, but I'm also hopeful since James Gunn does very well with very obscure characters. So I'm confident about that. Yep, Superman is being the start again for a new DC universe, and even though we lost Henry Cavill and he won't be returning to the role, I'm hopeful. No pun intended, whatever. I'm hopeful that this will at least give him the shine he needs. Because yeah, we already had dark, moody, and broody Superman. Like, yeah, we get that, but it's time we see the actual true beacon of hope and the one positive person in a kind of cynical world. I'm so excited. Green Lanterns is what introduced me to the Green Lantern. Green Lantern was what really invested me into the entire DC universe. So I'm really excited to see this happen because I've been dying for something Green Lantern in so long, and we just never got it. I mean, I liked the Ryan Reynolds one, even though it was kind of shitty. But there's so much lore behind the Green Lanterns and all that, especially with the Guardians, the whole emotional spectrum. I think Lanterns is going to be a banger, and I can't wait for it to actually happen. And it's not going to have just Hal Jordan; it's going to have Jon Stewart, which opens the world to have more lanterns than just those two. Because I was really hoping to see Guy Gardner or Alan Scott come into play, but I'm happy that these two starting out. But that also means we'll eventually get to hopefully see Alan Scott and Guy Gardner. I'm not too familiar with this group of heroes or whatever, but from how James is describing it, they're kind of like I could say they're kind of like renegades or anti-hero group from what I'm getting, but that's just me. Yeah. It is kind of like it does kind of give anti-hero vibes, but it might not be truly that. I'm just off first impressions since I'm not too familiar with the group. Like this is the One Woman prequel. I'm also starting to wonder if they're gonna do a Paradise Lost origin story of how Amazonians came to Themyscira and all that. It also makes me wonder if they'll probably plant seeds for the daughter of Darkseid, because I believe one of the Amazonian sisters, I forget her name, gives birth to like a daughter of Darkseid. So maybe they might plant that seed. I don't know. I'm actually glad they're finally doing a Robin with Batman because we haven't really seen a Robin with Batman since Batman and Robin, if you think about it. So I'm also glad that they're making it Damian Wayne instead of Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, because I'm pretty sure we've all seen enough interpretations of those three. Maybe not to the fullest extent that fans might like, but it'd be nice to see Damian Wayne, someone who has familial ties to Bruce Wayne, who is literally his son. So it's going to be interesting to see that father-son dynamic that's a little more close to home, rather than Bruce Wayne just adopting a kid and then training him to be a vigilante like him. I'm not too familiar with Booster Gold, but I do know that people find him as a fun character. And from the small clips I've seen from the animated series and stuff, Booster Gold does give a very fun vibe, almost in the tone of the Shazam movie. So I think it'll be interesting to see Booster Gold for sure. And he has ties to Blue Beetle. I almost said Blue Cord because Ted Cord. I think this is going to be a very interesting film, not only because of Supergirl, but because it's going to explore more of Krypton and just how obscure it can be. And given James Gunn's knack for probably, like, special effects from things like Guardians, Slither, what other movie can I think of? Those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. I think it'll be interesting to see James Gunn's take on Krypton, and how, from what I'm guessing, is that Supergirl is probably still going to be stuck in like a Brainiac snow globe, where it's like a piece of Krypton, her home world, and then it'll be that obscure, just like how this background looks. I also like that he brings up that she'll be a lot more jaded than Superman, which I think is a good mirror, because usually every time she's introduced, she's usually the more, more mature character, since she is older than Kal-El. But, time stuff happened, whatever, lesson or shortening the age, whatever. But she does know more about Krypton and stuff, so it makes sense why James Gunn would write her to be more jaded, since she would have seen more stuff and, lost her whole homeworld. Whereas with Cal, he's just a baby, goes to Earth, raised good. So I think it'll be very interesting to see the interpretation of Krypton and how Supergirl deals with losing it. Okay, I'm not too familiar with Swamp Thing either, but I do know that since he does bring up the aspect that it's going to be horror but still connected to the DCU, I'm really interested to see that. Seeing them, not just stay within one genre, but like dabbing a little bit into like horror or even sci-fi, just like how he did with the Suicide Squad, where I said before, it's like a creature feature, but just happens to have superheroes in it, or super villains. This new DCU slate, or at least partial slate, has me interested to see what's gonna happen. I'm also glad that it's starting out with Superman as the originator of the new DCU. I mean DCU. Goddamn, I need to start getting that right. I want to say I'm confident about this new universe, but I'll be cautiously optimistic. Because you never know, some things might not work out, but I'm cautiously optimistic because I still want to see all this play out, just to see how chapter 1 goes. But then I'm also a little bit worried that some things just might not make it all the way through, like that Lantern series, which I'm really hoping does happen. Other than that, that was just my off-the-cuff thoughts on the new DCU slate. Since I've been a DC fan for a while, and it's been hard being a DC fan, not gonna lie. But yeah, cautiously optimistic, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Especially Lantern. I just can't, I need to stop talking about the Lantern stuff. Now, I need to go read the Lantern comic book. I'm gonna head out. Hope you enjoy the video.